Are you a Christian woman entrepreneur looking to increase your income, your impact, and your faith?
Are you ready to dream the impossible, knowing that with God, all things truly are possible?
It's time to create divine millionaire momentum while keeping God as your CEO. Join me, Allie Porter, your Christian Connector Concierge.
And me, Elise Smith, your Christian business strategist, as we unite our shows to bring you a dynamic and faith-infused experience.
In this inspiring show, you'll gain access to powerful insights, biblical business strategies, and the real-life stories of Christian women entrepreneurs focused on 10xing their income, their impact, and their faith just like you.
Discover how to unlock your full potential, kick that inner dream stealer to the curb, embrace a divine wealth mindset, and reach the goals that God has placed on your heart. Allie and I will guide you on a journey to not only reach your goals, but also strengthen your relationship with God as your ultimate CEO.
With divine millionaire momentum, the sky is not the limit. It's just the beginning. Tune in, dream big, and partner with God to make the impossible possible.
Your journey to divine success starts here. Couldn't get off mute. Sorry. Welcome to the Divine Millionaire Momentum Show. We are excited to have an incredible guest here to discuss a topic that you may not really recognize as a way to build your business. But I love how in Luke 10:27 through 28, it talks about thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy strength and with all thy mind. And the second commandment is like unto it of love others. And so we are going to show you today with our incredible guest, Chip, how you can really infuse love of God, of others into your business and grow it in the Lord's way. So welcome to the Divine Millionaire Momentum Show.
All right, I get to introduce Chip today, and I'm super excited. So welcome, Chip. We're so happy to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Here we go. So Chip Eisely is a certified life coach and creator of let me repeat that. Chip Eisely is a certified life coach and creator of Live Full Life Coaching. He is the co-creator of Battalion of Brothers, a co-founder of Selling Seriously, where he's known as the sales whisperer. I love that. Chip has spent his life helping small businesses grow and achieve their potential. This passion has taken him on an amazing adventure and honed his skills in ways he never imagined. During this adventure, he learned that the space around you is very important to the outcome that you are looking for. And that ties in perfectly with what we're going to be talking about today. So with that, Elise, do you want to start with our first question?
Yeah, absolutely. We just want to get to know you, Chip. So I know you a little bit more than Allie does. I've known Chip for several years and have had the pleasure of watching him like bloom into a powerful speaker. And I'm so excited we get to have him on the show here today. And one thing, I know Allie just introduced him, but because he's like my brother in Christ here, I will tell you that Chip has a heart of gold. And he really truly cares about every single person, not only that he meets, but that he talks to. So if you are listening or you're watching this, I know that he cares for you and he cares that he is really sharing the message that God has placed on his heart. And I know that he will do exactly that today because he's so in tune with the Spirit and just an overall good guy. So, so Chip, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what got you started with your business in the first place.
Ooh, what got me started with my business in the first place is I remember um, I'd had a restaurant and I'd had some other things going on and we'd lost everything. I mean, that's kind of your classic story of losing everything. Literally, we went bankrupt and we were living at my parents' house and I was doing anything for work at that time, just trying to get things corrected. And we were starting to dig ourselves back, but there came a moment I was out away from home working and calling my wife and talking to her and just realizing that I wasn't living up to my potential. I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know what to do, what steps to do. Um, I started out by my brother-in-law sent me a book. It's a little book if you ever want to read it. It's called The Happy Pocket Full of Money. It's by a little artist, it's not very long or anything, but it just started me on my journey, and it talks a lot about different things. It's not all about money, but it it does have some of those things, but it's about how you set yourself up, and it's all your mindset and everything. So I started working on that. We did um called a friend, and we were working on some things together, and we decided, you know what, we're starting to do so much better. Let's do our own event. That's what everybody does, right? They just start an event from nothing.
Yeah.
Um, and so we went to one of our friends we knew that was doing it, and she looked at us and she says, "You guys are not ready for an event. Here, go to this event first." And went to that event with my wife. It was a couples event in Utah. Friend of mine and I went, and my wife went, and it's one of those moments where I thought I was okay. I thought I was doing well, and then I was shown that there's so much more out there to do. And it really started me on a journey. I hired my first coach. I started working. They challenged me, and I came to realize something really fast, that I did not like myself very much. I was all around all these people, and I realized that I didn't love who I was. I didn't like myself. I hid from a lot of things. Birthdays, I mean, if you don't like to celebrate your birthday, if you don't like to be celebrated when you have any accomplishments, there's something in us innately that really wants to be celebrated, and if we're denying that, there's something that you're denying about yourself. And somebody told me one time, as I was going through this journey, self-discovery and finding love for myself, they said that, you know, um, they said, Chip, you just don't like you don't want to even celebrate your existence. You're denying that you even exist. And I've grown up Christian and believing in God my whole life. And when they said that, it really hurt, because I'm like, no, I know I'm a son of God. But at the same time, I was denying that gift that he gave me, this life, this existence that we have. And that's kind of what spurred me on to go on to become a life coach and to do the other things that I had, is that I found a way to overcome that. I found a way to make that work better. And it's changed the way I talk, look, and speak with everybody. And it's a continual process. I learned. I was just talking with a client the other day, and talking to him, I learned something very profound about myself during that. So it's not like I've found the whole answer, but I found the path to a lot of answers.
I
Mm.
love that story. It's so powerful because when you realize, there's the scripture of the when we realize our weaknesses, that God can help us to make them become strong. And as we realize some of the things that we maybe don't like about our life or our business, or that we're not quite as happy or satisfied with, then at least we have a starting point there, somewhere to work to. And God, as we turn to God, he can help us to turn our mess into our message. And that's exactly what you did in such a powerful way.
Mm. And I love the fact that you brought up The Happy Pocket Full of Money. I love that book. Love, love, love. When I found it, I just devoured it, and I've read it probably 5 times. And it's just so powerful. But I love how it was you became more aware because you took the step to go to that event, to that couples event, and to really because so many people can go to things, they can take action, but they're not actually willing to change or willing to um, reflect and actually be honest with themselves of like, yeah, I probably could be better at this, or whatever. And so I'm really proud of you for doing that and for making that a priority, because we can't change other people, but we can change ourselves. And I love the fact that you were open to that, because now that's led you on this journey that you're on now.
Yeah, thank you. It was powerful. And Elise quoted that scripture, but there's a part that a lot of people leave out, and I find is super important. We're going to talk about it a little bit more today. It says, love the Lord thy God as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You need to love your neighbors as yourself. And that one's really hit me hard over the years, because if you can't, honestly, if you're sitting here and you're reflecting on that and you're thinking, oh, I can love these other people, can you really love people if you don't love yourself? Or are you just tolerating them in some varying degree?
Ooh.
That
on that for
hurt,
a
but it
minute.
was so good. That's just preach, Chip. I love it.
So good. All right, Elise, you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. So tell us about, just talking about this love concept and how we've been able to see it in your life and leading it into what we're going to talk about today. Tell us about why you're so passionate about the topic of love, because I think it's a little bit, when you told me what you wanted to talk about, especially because this is a course that will be coming out, I think, in Real Men Alliance, which we're all part of, which is super awesome. But when I first heard it, I was like, that is a very interesting topic. So why are you so passionate about love?
So, passion about love is the fact that I felt like I didn't have it for so long. Even getting married, even having children, I felt void of love for a long time. And then when I started to find it, I understood. I've been understanding it and trying to, how do you put it? Trying to encapsulate it and understand how it affects me and what it really means to me and what love can do for me. And the thing I found is that we don't express the love enough, especially in America. In other countries, they do a little bit more, but in America, we have one word for love. We got love, right? If you go to other countries, other languages, they have 5 up to 8 words differentiating different types of love. We have one, and we kind of try to wrap it all into this big conglomerate of everything is love. And I think by doing this, what we've done is we've like muddied the water so much, or distilled it so much, that it's just kind of a word that floats out there, and we either try to hold it for these very specific people in our lives, our spouses, our children, our parents, something like that, or we just don't do anything with it at all. We kind of just keep it for these very sacred, very personal things. And what I'm passionate about doing is showing people that you need to express love to everybody. There's a version of love for every interaction you have, whether you just met somebody or you've known them for your whole life. And we need to, I think, as a culture, as a people, we need to start embracing that a lot more. And so, real quick, principle number 1 that I always go through is that there's a level of love that you have for just your acquaintances, right? So you meet somebody, you talk to them, and you can tell them in different ways that you love. I love that you brought that to me. I love how you back on love. I love this interaction that we're having. I love to talk to you. People just don't use that word very often. And growing up the way I grew up, my family, Elise, I know you don't understand this at all, but there's sarcasm in the world. I love her husband, by the way. He's very awesome like that. But I grew up very sarcastic, so everything was very sarcasm, a lot of sarcasm, and it was always on a negative side. And I started changing that even before I found this, and I started telling people. It was kind of a mistake one day. It's one of those things. I was talking to somebody on the phone. I was talking to my wife on the phone, said, love you, bye. Got a phone call, talked to them for a little bit, and then I said, love you, bye, and hung up. And it was like, oh my gosh, the most awkward moment in the entire world.
You totally did that to me.
I did.
My husband was on I had Chip on the speakerphone, and at the end of the conversation, Chip's like, okay, love you, bye. And I was like,
how do I respond to that?
But here's the thing. So since I did that, that person came back to me, and I called them, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, don't be sorry. That's the first time somebody's told me that in over a year. And it hit me. Man. We don't tell people enough that we love them. So 98% of the time, I'll tell people, love you, bye. on the phone or on a conversation or anything, even if I don't really know you. And it gets people really, it kind of does the same thing that sarcasm did, right? But it's a super positive way of doing it. It makes them squirm and think and move.
Mm-hmm.
And I want people to squirm and think and move. I would love for the people to say, the last thing he told me was love you, bye.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a more powerful statement somebody could say. If something happened to me or whatever, if they said the last thing that he told me was love you, bye, and it had been a year since we talked or something, how powerful is that moment, that maybe that's what they needed to hear to change their life. And those are just acquaintances, just people you talk to on the phone or in a meeting or something like that. And I've gotten over it because it was hard at first, like when I started doing it, especially when I started working with, because I do a lot of coaching and I do a lot with women and stuff. It was like, I love you, bye, and talking to women, and it's kind of weird, but there's an intention behind it. I'm not putting an intention of romantic love behind what I'm saying. I'm putting intention of friendship and acknowledgement of your existence behind it. And that is, it takes it from this weird, awkward thing to oh, that's different. And people feel it differently because I give it differently, if
And
that makes sense.
Yeah, I really actually love that. In fact, it's interesting because we do that in my household with all of my like immediate family, like my husband and all my kids and everything, except we flip it. We have "I love you." That's how we say it. But it's the same thing, same concept. And but we say it automatically without even thinking. Like that's just how we close the call. And so I've done that too, where I've just been like, oh wait. But I love how you're like, no, like that's okay. Like, and if they squirm, that's good because it's getting them in that, action of like thinking about it. Oh, yeah, maybe we can do that. And I loved also how you were saying the intention behind it. And I think that's the important thing that people need to realize is we do need to show more love for each other, for people. And it's been so interesting because I'm one that just gives it so freely, and I say I love you to everybody all the time. And I've gotten back lots of times where they're like, I like I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't say I love you. Like that's really cool that you can do that, but I can't do that. So if you're one of those people that just it is awkward, I would challenge you to step out a little bit more and stuff like that. But if it takes you a little while, that's okay too. But just know that you are loved and that you are cared for, and that you can start being that for other people. And when you give love, you can receive love better. So, I just love this conversation. So Chip, I have one other question for you. So, well, we have a couple more, but help us understand, and you kind of sort of alluded to this, like the layers of love, but help us understand each layer of love and how it can help in personal and business growth. So I know we've kind of talked more in like the personal space, but I would love to hear how that can also equate to personal and the business space and kind of the layers of love there.
Okay, yeah, not a problem. So I always find that there's all the layers. I'm going to go through the layers real quick, and then I'm going to show you kind of how those each can integrate into your business. So the first layer is I call them acquaintances. Okay, so the first layer is acquaintances, and then you move from acquaintances and you move into friends. So an acquaintance can move to a friend, and then there's after friend, the friend kind of moves into like what I call family friend, where they're more like family and less like friend. And I have friends that my kids call uncle and aunt. They're only friends, and my kids don't know why sometimes. Like, why do we call them? They're not related. I'm like, because they're close as blood to me, and they might as well be your uncle. So then we got family love, okay, and then we got spouse love. We have after spouse love is love of self and love of God. And you're asking, how does this work with business? And there's a whole, I walk you through a whole step on how each one leads to the next one. But in business, especially like as coaching business people and coaching and sales and stuff, I get to hit people right where it hurts because they have such a hard time selling their own stuff. I do more life coaching on business coaching, on sales coaching than I do on life coaching. but it's very hard for them to sell their own stuff or to do their own things. But what happens is they're afraid of that other person on the other side, either the phone or the table or whatever. There's a fear that they're going to be rejected, that they're going to be turned down. Even with our friends, a lot of times we don't want to tell them. We don't want to tell a friend, which is kind of more an acquaintance that you talk to, you go hang out with a little bit, things like that. We don't want to tell them that we love them either, because there's that fear of rejection. And that fear of rejection paralyzes us from doing a lot of things and possibly going a lot further than we need to go. So we need to get past that fear and just tell people, if we can find a layer of love for every individual that comes into our life, a way of loving them and seeing that it helps break that fear wall a lot. And kind of like what you were saying, that it's easy for you to say, I love you, bye. It's taken years for me, but it's easy for me to say, I love you, bye now, and or I love you, see you later, or whatever it is. And it still throws people off. And I have some friends that now try to say it before me, even because they know it's coming from me. So they try to beat me to the love you, bye part, try to make me squirm, but I love it so much. But what happens is, even if we're not saying it out loud, if you tell yourself in your head, I love that person, and give a couple reasons why you would love that person. And love, like I said, acquaintance love is completely different than spouse love or love of self or love of God. It's completely different. It's more of a, I love what that person is doing. I just met them. I love who they are as a person. I would love to get to know them more. Yes, you can love them in that space, in that frame. So in your business, if you learn to love everybody that you're talking to, everybody that you're meeting with, to some degree, they feel it. And they return, whether you say it out loud or not. If you're consciously telling yourself that you love them and why you love them and what some good things are, if you talk about that before you meet with them, or you're like, I'm excited to meet this person. I want to see how they fit into my life, and I love being able to do that with them. If you can create this positiveness around it, they're going to feel the positive, and they want to come and talk to you. They want to come and they want to be in your presence. They want to be in your area. They want to do business with you. They trust you, and they think it's weird, but they still are going to do it. And it's going to be completely fine. So the problem is that we think as business people, we have to be the stars. I have to be business. I have to be, and there's times we have to be. But if we go into it with love and correctiveness, they're going to feel the love on top of everything, even if we're having to correct people or tell them that we can't do this business or trying to move them from one spot to the other. You cannot move somebody without love. If you think you can change somebody's mind in your business to buy your product, to do your thing, to do your course, to do your stuff, to follow you, to go around and do everything with you, and they can't feel any amount of love from you, they either will not last very long as customers, or they will never sign on with you at all. A lot of us intuitively do it. Ali, you're probably an intuitively, you love everybody you talk to. I'm not an intuitive love everybody I talk to person. I had to work hard on that. But I've noticed that as I do love everybody I talk to, people want to surround themselves with me. People talk about, how do you create your circle, right? You have to be around the top 10. You want to be successful, you have to be around successful people. I don't necessarily completely concur with that, because I think you have to be around people you love. And if those people are successful, that's fine. You still have to love them. I've been around people that are super successful, and I really can't even stand being in their presence, because there's something that just doesn't work. Not all the time, but sometimes. And that's just kind of people. But I find a way to love the people I'm around. And if we love the people we're around, we're going to pull people towards us. We're going to draw business towards us. They're going to want to invite their friends to come listen to you and talk to you without even saying anything. Why do you work with Ali? Because she loves me. She doesn't say it, or maybe she does say it. She loves me. And I'm progressing with that. And I want you, my friend, to feel that love. That you're loved by somebody. And that's just the powerful moments when those happen in business. And you don't lose those clients ever.
Mm. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, Chip. And I love it because I love it because I can feel the love radiating from you. But it's so interesting because I would never think that you would have had a like a hard time with that or had to work for that. Um, and so I think that that is so awesome because there are people that maybe it may come more naturally for people than others, but like Chip is a perfect example. Like you can learn how to do that. You can learn how to love people in different layers and different ways. And I just, oh, that's amazing. Elise, I want to like ask you really quick. I know we're running out of time, but oh man, we could like talk for another 5 hours. But I noticed that you were getting a little emotional. I would love to like hear your thoughts.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I've been like crying this whole time. Nobody can see it, thankfully. But man, I just one, I love you so much, both of you. Like, holy cow. Um, sorry, I usually have better words than this. I'm just so overcome right now. It's so important. It's so important that we love each other. Like that first great commandment of love God, love others, love ourselves. It's so important because there are people in this world who, like your story. I mean, this is your fault, Chip, because your story of the guy who, or the person who hasn't been told that they've been loved in a whole year. Um, I like personally, I grew up in a home that love was not used in the right way. Um, and so when people tell me they love me, it really does like it makes me put up that guard. And Allie and I have actually been talking about this personally of, can someone really love you who's just met you or who is on a podcast and talking to them over the internet? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And I'm starting to just feel it so strongly that your topic of what's love got to do with it, everything. Love is everything because I've seen it with so many people in my life. But Chip, I've seen you be that sales whisperer because you love people, because you lead with love first. And Allie, you are like the best friend that anyone ever, could ask for, to almost everyone that you meet because you love them. And I agree, Chip. Sometimes it doesn't come as easily for me as I would like it to. Whereas Allie, she just exudes love all the time. You know what I mean? But it's so important for us to love people in the layers that you're talking about because it's important for people to feel that love and to know that there is good love out there. So yeah, thanks, Allie, for calling me out on crying the whole time. But yeah, I just this has been such a beautiful topic and it's so needed and it absolutely can help your business because love is what it's all about. And I'm just so grateful that I love you guys. And it's really even weird for me to say, like, I still have a hard time saying love you to anybody but my spouse or my son or something like that. But it is so important. And we do need to tell people that we love them at every single level, even if it's just starting in our hearts and our heads first. Because if we lead with love, we will never go wrong.
And can I add one more thing real quick? I know we're running out of time here, but people are so afraid of being rejected of love, feeling like we give love and then it's not reciprocated. We feel like it has to be reciprocated in order for it to be full. When you really feel love, your glass is full and you're willing to give it away, whether they give anything back or not. You need to hold and let everybody be okay that it's, if they don't give it back, that's not anything necessarily to do with you. It may be that they don't feel it with you, and that's fine. But you have to understand that that's on a sales side, real quick. That's how you eliminate your clients that won't work with you, anyways. If they don't reciprocate or they don't feel that and that's not a good connection, that's, you have to be fine with it. That's part of love. Love is not like, well, I loved you, why didn't you love me back? That's opposite of love. Love is, you know what? I love you anyways. I don't care that you've you rejected me, turned me down, and never want to have anything to do with me anymore. I still love you because you came to an answer. You came to a decision. And I love that you're able to do that. If we keep that vibration, if we keep that high level of love for ourselves, that's where you have to learn to love yourself first, because we can't love others if we don't love ourselves. If I don't love myself enough, if I told Ali I love her and we're doing business or whatever it is like that, like, I love you for being a business coach and helping these people out. And she's like, dude, I don't even want you on my team anymore.
Mm.
I don't care. It's not going to affect me because, I mean, I may be sad that it didn't work out, but it's not a reflection of who I am, what she thinks. The only person that I need to really worry about, and it sounds so crazy, is me. I need to love me because I can't love others until I love myself, and God. And here's the quintessential thing that I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to leave everybody with, okay? The last story real quick is I remember praying to God, trying to figure out who I was and trying to love myself. And I prayed and I said, why did you make this person so terrible? Meaning me. And God came back and said, I didn't. You chose to see yourself that way. And then he said, you are a beloved creation of mine. And I love every part and every mistake, and everything that I put into you was on purpose and has value. And when I realized that it was me, not him, he always loved me through everything I'd done. It was me who had chosen not to love me. And when I realized that my love for myself was a reflection for my love for God, because I was saying, God, you messed up. This thing you made that is terrible. I don't love it. Is like telling somebody, I don't love the way you raise your kids, or I don't love your kids because you're your parents, you know? And it totally slapped me in the face and made me understand that God loves me all the time. I need to love me all the time. And as soon as that clicked, my love for God was like, it just opened the whole world for me. So I don't know if that'll click in anybody else, but ask that question. It's a hard one, but you will find the answer will come to you, that God has always loved you exactly how you are.
Mm. All right. Well,
Now that you have us all in tears, thanks,
yeah.
Chip.
If you guys want to connect with Chip, not if, when, like, connect with Chip, please. Okay. The link will be in the show notes. We want you to take advantage of just being able to be in his presence, because honestly, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Chip, for being here. Thank you for just sharing your heart with us and helping us to understand how this all can relate to our personal lives and our business and everything in between. And really, if we lead with love at the core of everything we do, because God is love, then everything else will fall into place the way that it needs to. And I loved how you said it does not have to be reciprocated in order for it to be full. I want you guys to let that sink in. So that means when you reach out to someone to offer something, if they reject it, it does not even need to affect you at all, because it has nothing to do with you. It's them, you know. And you love yourself and God, and that's all that matters. So when you're prospecting, when you're on sales calls, when you're doing that, when you're with your kids, your spouse, in your personal life, like, what? That's amazing. It's amazing. So with that, I know we have to close, but thank you so much again, Chip, for being here. And we cannot wait to, again, see where God leads us in all of these different things. But reach out to Chip. The link will be in the show notes. You'll be able to connect with him in the directory. All of his links will be there. This recording will be in there as well. And we look forward to just having you in our circle, Chip. We love you, and hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Elise, did you want to close us out?
No, we love you all. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us on this inspiring journey of divine millionaire momentum.
Don't miss out on connecting with other Christian ladypreneurs and building valuable relationships. Join our free virtual networking events every Thursday at m2networking.com.
Ready to take your success to the next level? Be sure to book a call with us to explore the incredible resources, tools, and opportunities that we have to empower your journey at m2networking.com/call.
Remember, with God, all things are possible. Until next time, stay inspired, believe in Christ, and receive the wealth and prosperity that God has for you.